If there's one genre that the PSP isn't exactly lacking these days, it's racers. There's all kinds of great racers on the PSP, like Need for Speed, Wipeout, Ridge Racer, all that stuff. But now there is a racer that is better than all of them and is actually one of the best games on the PSP. Burnout Legends by EA and Criterion is sort of a compilation of the first 3 Burnout games on consoles. It's more based on Burnout 3, but it's got elements of 1 and 2 kind of mixed in for good measure. It takes all these elements, puts them into a PSP game, and what comes out is exactly what you would want from a Burnout handheld game. It's super deep, super long, and it retains the exact same kind of just crazy arcade frenetic gameplay that you loved from the original console games. So the gameplay is pretty much like Burnout 3. It's got all the same kind of mechanics with the aftertouch, the takedowns, all the kind of crazy crap you could do in the console games. But it's also got some of the cars and some of the tracks and crash events from 1 and 2. You've got basic race modes like just a standard race. There's a road rage race where the whole point is just sort of like crash into guys as much as possible and take them down, which is to say wreck the other guys. There's a pursuit mode where you're playing a cop car and you got to like chase down a guy and take him out. There's burning laps, which are basically just fat time trials. And then there's the crash mode, which gives you these kind of carefully crafted scenarios of traffic that you need to kind of go run in and break up as much as possible by just blowing up as many cars as you can, just getting as many different cash bonuses and everything else, and just basically cause as much havoc as you possibly can. Though the crash mode is more like a puzzler, the other modes are more like just standard racers, and it all kind of ties together into this one main single-player mode, which is the World Tour mode. You start out with only a couple of cars unlocked and maybe a couple of tracks here and there. But as you play, you unlock more, you get more, and it just sort of turns into this really long progression as you travel from place to place, racing in all these different places, doing all these different crash events. There's like 175 different events total in the game, and it will take you hours to beat them all and unlock everything. When you're done with that, you got the multiplayer, which is for up to 6 players via the ad hoc. There's no online, but if you got 5 friends, then you're in luck. Apart from all the races, there's a party crash mode as well as a double impact mode, which is sort of a 2-player single crash event, which is pretty cool. If you've got the friends together, the multiplayer is fantastic fun. It's not as great necessarily if you've only got like one friend, but if you got a whole bunch of people, it's awesome. The Burnout games on consoles are heralded for being like just ridiculous kind of fast, and the PSP version is pretty much in the same boat. The game maintains a really steady frame rate, and it just gets that sense of speed down pat. It just nails it. You are going real fast in this game. You may not realize it at first when you first just have the kind of base level cars that haven't unlocked the really fast ones. But once you get to the F1 racers and the other really super fast cars, it's kind of blinding how fast the game is. There's a couple little frame rate hitch-ups here and there with certain wrecks, and sometimes it can be a little hard to see traffic on the screen. But once you get past these little hiccups, it is an amazing looking game that just goes super fast. If you're a fan of any of the Burnout games on consoles, you will automatically love Burnout Legends because it is really just like the console games and it's translated extremely well onto the PSP hardware. If you've never played any of the Burnout games before, this is a great place to start if you own a PSP, and even if you don't, this is the kind of game that you should actually pick up a PSP for because it's just that damn good.